Um, but specifically, I was like, who is this guy? This is very polished. He seems to come out of nowhere. And this seems, anyone looking at this can tell that a lot of money was spent into this production. Every sentence that went into this was extremely deliberate in creating ambiguity, in fact. So I decided to do a little digging because I'm like, who the hell is Seth Holehouse? So, Seth Holehouse is a. Did we forget to have the overlay on this entire time?
Yeah, nobody in the live chat told us, by the way. You guys all failed us.
Wow.
Every single one of you in the live chat, every single one of you in the live chat failed us to tell us that we don't have the overlay on. Okay. I am so disappointed in our live chat. But it's
so
okay.
Seth Holehouse here is actually, let's go to his LinkedIn first. So I don't know how they were trying to scrub his background from the internet before they released it. A lot of it is still available on the Google cache though, right? However, I don't know why they didn't think to like scrub his freaking LinkedIn, because if you could just go to his LinkedIn, you can very clearly see that he says that he worked for the Epoch Times for almost 8 years. Okay, so this is clear. Oh, your motivations. You're continually plugging the Epoch Times very vocally throughout your entire video. I wonder why. Oh, maybe it's because you used to work for them. Maybe it's because you used to be the developer of audience development or their creative director. Okay, so here's the deal. What do we know about the Epoch Times? We know that the Epoch Times is the propaganda wing of the destructive, crazy cult known as Falun Gong or Falun Dafa. Okay, this is an extremely destructive organization that I don't even know how to fully describe it. Like, there's aliens, there's racial purity. Basically, they believe that like the lightness of your skin is an indicator to your level of spiritual purity or enlightenment. They believe in various forms of meditation, kind of like a Tai Chi kind of practice, which itself isn't like necessarily so bad, but they're also legitimately heavily persecuted by the Communist Party of China. Like, let's be clear, that is real. But they do use the persecution that they face by the Communist Party of China in their propaganda and to their benefit. So because of the persecution that they face in China, they are extremely anti-CCP, and we are extremely anti-CCP, but they take it in a far right direction. I would say they take it in a propagandist direction. So, but it's like, okay, like maybe you happen to,
and they exaggerate the already existing crime.
yeah. So
like,
maybe you happen to work for a newspaper that's extremely questionable, right? That doesn't like automatically mean that you're a member of this or something. Oh, except for the fact that I found on the Google cache something. Western practitioners recount 2015 New York Experience Sharing Conference. So this is when more than 8,000 Falun Dafa supporters from over 50 countries participated in a cultivation experience sharing conference. And they shared how they developed their character through Falun Dafa. So, this guy looks kind of familiar. Does it?
Wait, this guy's part of the.
This is Seth Holehouse.
So he's part of Falun Gong? Is that what you're saying? He's Falun Dafa?
Yes. It says a Falun Dafa practitioner from New York.
That is crazy. Okay.
No. Let me read this. It is always refreshing and encouraging to attend the conference. It is nice to see so many practitioners from all over, including old friends. This is a pure land, said Seth Holehouse from New York, who has practiced Falun Dafa for 10 years. This happened in 2015. This means that he's been a Falun Dafa practitioner or member of this Chinese cult since 2005.
So this makes the part of the video that we didn't show a lot more important, because the part of the video that we don't show goes on to blame all this election fraud on China. 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 No, but this whole video goes into saying that this election was stolen from Trump for Biden by China. So basically, we went from Russia Gate to now China Gate, which is, and I don't know, like, okay, so.
But you want to see something? You want to see something tasty?
I just want to be careful for us not to do our own version of conspiracy theories. So let's just be clear: just because this guy is Falun Dafa, Falun Dafa and their organization's agenda is to do everything anti-Chinese government, okay? And again, we are also anti-Chinese government here, but they take it to a whole delusional conspiracy theory, supernatural woo. They rely on their victimizations of their members. They bank on it. They invest in it. And they spread so many lies, and it's really shame. It's a shame because you don't need lies to be anti-CCP. You don't need lies to be anti-CCP. The human rights violations of CCP is more than it would ever be enough ever for you to be anti-CCP. So for some people to go and come up with such ludicrous narratives and to come up with their own stories, and these are people that think that they're extremely racist, right? These people are, their ideas are beyond crazy. Like, go look at the stream that I had over about Falun Dafa about this, right? For these people to threaten the campaigns against human rights violations of CCP with lies, because when you have lies, then it becomes very difficult to trust actual genuine reports of human rights violations by China. So this is a movement that actually damages human rights efforts against China,
and it damages anti-CCP activism because it delegitimizes a lot of it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, not to be conspiratorial, but okay, like I said earlier, here is the Google archive thing. Here's the site now.
Oh, yeah. They removed them.
Do you notice someone's missing? And then here we have again, this has been scrubbed from the website. This is in the archive on Epoch Times. They've tried to remove as much as they can from the actual website itself, but here's a lot of photography he's done for them and other submissions. I believe he was also a writer in some regards. And what is this? So here they have, this also has, there's been a whole paragraph by him that was removed from the website. Seth Holehouse from Ohio. That's interesting because the last one said he was from New York. Maybe he was currently living in New York. Talks about how he let go of his attachments, such as the attachment to comfort in the course of polishing articles for publication. Cultivation in human society, as he understood it, is the best opportunity to cultivate ourselves and to clarify the facts to others. Such cultivation is far more difficult than cultivating in a remote area, detached from society and hidden away in mountains and forests. Surrounded by everyday society, we must directly face interference from all kinds of attachments in our everyday lives. Since we all lead busy lives, we may fall into a trap. Taking sacred Fa study, doing the exercises and sending righteous thoughts as a daily routine, as if we were dealing with everyday work. Cultivation is very serious, however, and we must be careful not to fall into the trap. So what they're saying is here, like, every time you practice, you have to be doing it very seriously. You can't just be doing it as a matter of routine. And just to show the current version, wait.
Just to be clear, this doesn't prove anything, but it is a red flag. The fact that
now this is gone.
Oh wow.
There's nothing for Seth. Oh, you can't see my search function. Yeah, there's nothing for him now. I'm not saying that it proves anything, but you have to dig into your sources. Who is this guy? And what is his motivation? Who or who is behind him? They plug Epoch Times so continuously, so strongly, throughout the video, it's not difficult to figure out that not only is this guy been an employee of theirs for almost 8 years, he is actually a practitioner of this cult ideology itself.
Right. Just to be clear,
I thought it was interesting, and part of why it's important to dig into who this guy is and who your sources are is because the way that they played a lot of the imagery in the video was playing into a lot of Christian nationalist kind of identity and sentiment in the video, right? I don't think Falun Gong or Falun Dafa could be like further from that. They're like, pray to God at the end. I'm like, that's not what you're into.
Yeah. So Epoch Times is a far-right international multi-language newspaper and media company affiliated with Falun Gong. So they were transparent about. So this guy was from Epoch Times,
straight up far right.
Yeah, so he's like, he was from Epoch Times, and he was part of Falun Gong cult, which is an extremely, it's an like you could see their agenda, right? Again, this is not proof, but this is a red flag. Like, why is it that, right? Did they remove all of his association and everything from these websites that you show before or after this video?
It's hard to tell. I can get you an answer in a second.
I don't know if people understand. Do people know what Falun Gong is? Like, people in the live chat, how many of you know what Falun Gong is? Because some of you, like, look, I bet you some people think like, oh, far right. Look at this. Look at this. Exactly. I didn't even notice. I was going to say it, and I looked to see if there's somebody in the live chat is going to say this, and it's right there. Anyone even slightly left now as far right. That is so predictable because it's very interesting, because they think now that because people are being falsely accused of far right, that means there's no such thing as far right, because they don't believe. That means this is automatically dismiss any far right allegations because of some people using it too loosely. But if anybody could be accused of being far right, it is Falun Gong, right? Falun Gong is an extremely dangerous cult, and Epoch Times is not. This is not a secret that Epoch Times is associated with Falun Gong. Okay, it's not like this is not. This is not a conspiracy. You guys could go do some research about Epoch Times, about Falun Gong. Falun Gong itself is the only reason why it's hard for people to recognize as Falun Gong as a dangerous cult is because it's true that the Chinese government is extremely brutal to them, right? Mm-hmm. The Chinese government is extremely brutal to the members of this cult.
The Chinese government does commit human rights abuses on its members.
Yes, but and against every other cult and religious group, right? However, the Falun Gong has managed to invest on this victimization a lot more than many other religious groups and cults have, right? Like, this is something that Falun Gong banks on. Like, they are monetizing the human rights violations on their members, right? But the thing is that doesn't deny the fact that the CCP is extremely brutal and is committing human rights violation. But if you do want to speak in defense of Falun Gong members in China and against the CCP's treatment of them, do not rely on Falun Gong's own propaganda and their own media. You go and find, even though they're a dangerous cult, they deserve defending against the CCP. Okay, just because they have
human rights abuse.
Just because they're a crazy cult, that doesn't mean that we should dismiss. Nobody is suggesting that their human rights violations against the Falun Gong should be dismissed in any ways. However, if you do want to defend them, don't use Falun Gong's own media, own narratives, own propaganda, own charity movement, own fundraising, including the shows they have. What's the name of the show that they sponsor? Yes, go and find.
Yeah, I want to go see Chen Yun.
Don't, because you're funding Falun Gong.
I know.
But it's actually not that good anyways. But No, it's horrible. Yeah. But if you want to support Falun Gong cult members against CCP, go find legitimate human rights organizations that have some more credibility than Falun Gong themselves. This is a cult that is dealing in human, like they are using, their the victimization of their own people to sell you a very, very dangerous ideology, which is actually
Jehovah's Witnesses do the same thing.
No, this is way worse. Falun Gong is way worse.
But it's worse, but they do the same thing. They milk the persecution of their members in Russia.
Right.
It's fairly contemporary, actually.
They're extremely racist, by the way. Extremely racist. Like not like the dog whistle type of racist. The explicit, full-on rating different ethnicities
by pigmentation.
By pigmentation kind of racist. And also subscribe to our newsletter, because if we get removed from all these platforms, at least we could reach out to you. And guys, by the way, if you subscribe to our newsletter, you get a free copy. Where's your copy, Susanna? Get it. We're doing promotion. You get a free. It's not even promotion. It's free. Okay, so if you subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description, you get a free copy of Why There's No God. Come on, like I'm handing it out for free. Okay, it's a bestseller on Amazon, and you get it for free. So subscribe to our newsletter, and you get a free copy of Why There's No God sent to you. Link in the description.